President Trump says he's considering a limited military strike on Iran to pressure its leaders into a new nuclear deal. The president's comments came as he was meeting with some of the nation's governors at the White House. Sources have told CBS News that President Trump's top national security officials have told him the military is ready to strike. In fact, as early as this weekend, though he has not yet made a final decision. Later today, during a briefing about the Supreme Court's tariff ruling, the president was asked if he had a message for the Iranian people.
They better negotiate a fair deal. They better negotiate. You know, the people of Iran are a lot different than the leaders of Iran. And it's very sad situation.
Let's bring in CBS News' national security contributor, Sam Vinograd. So, Sam, the president says one of his motives for a possible strike is to pressure them to make a nuclear deal. Do you see that as a tangible avenue to bring Iran closer to an agreement?
Well, yes and no. The problem is, Lindsay, negotiating a nuclear deal, even when you have an Iranian regime that is committed to actually getting a deal, it just takes time. The last Iran nuclear deal took at least 20 months to negotiate. And so President Trump is weighing whether the regime is committed to negotiations or not. That's just not something you're going to know in 10 days or 2 weeks. Certainly, an extended military campaign against military facilities in Iraq, nuclear facilities, and perhaps regime targets could pressure the regime to the negotiating table, but it could also harden their resolve if they feel like their very survival is under attack.
What nuclear facilities are left?
Well, after the president initiated a strike against Iranian nuclear facilities over the summer, he said that there was obliteration of those nuclear facilities. The national security strategy released by the administration tells a slightly different story, which was there was significant damage done, but that nuclear facilities do remain intact. At the same time, Lindsay, the stockpile of highly enriched uranium that Iran could use to break out to a bomb is also intact. And that's perhaps the most worrisome part. It is worth noting that in addition to the attacks that President Trump and the Israelis launched against nuclear sites, there was also a campaign of targeting nuclear scientists. So the regime lost not only nuclear sites, but also some of the intellectual capital that's needed to really jumpstart the nuclear program.
What about its ballistic capabilities or any other potential targets you see?
Iran's ballistic missile program is its trump card, so to speak. Iran has the most diversified and the largest volume of ballistic missiles in the region. Those missiles have the capability to reach into Israel, which has been a deep worry for successive administrations, as well as, of course, for the Israelis. Highly advanced set of ballistic missiles. They've depended on countries like Russia, North Korea, and China for various components to fuel, no pun intended, their ballistic missile program. Certainly, the United States and Israel have targeted those sites, but Iran has taken a lot of their production and a lot of their stockpiling underground. So we should expect Iran to rely on its ballistic missile stockpile if it is attacked by the United States, which is why the U.S. has moved not just aircraft carriers and carrier strike groups into the region, but also missile defense systems to try to protect U.S. bases and other assets in the region.
Wow, all right, Sam Vinograd, thank you.
Thanks.